All right, welcome back to Musicians Edition. Today, we're going to look at some rhythms, right? And we're specifically going to look at how we can divide rhythms into different parts. And that's going to set us up to really comprehend some other time signatures and stuff like that we're going to work on down the road, okay? So we're going to start with just a simple whole note, right? And as you may or may not already know, a whole note typically gets 4 beats, right? 4 counts or 4 pulses in time, okay? So we're thinking if you see a note like this, you hold the note for 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 beats like that, okay? Now, what we can do here is start to divide these notes into different parts, okay? So what we're going to do is divide this whole note into 2 equal parts. All right. And if we divide a whole note into 2 equal parts, then each of those notes is going to get 2 beats. And the type of note we use to signify 2 beats is a half note. Okay. So I'm just going to draw a little tree here. This is going to take us to a half note and a half note. Right. And you'll notice when I go from here when I add these 2 together, it equals the duration of this note. Right. So half note gets 2 beats. Half note gets 2 beats, right? We add those together, that equals a whole note, which gets 4 beats. Okay, now if we continue on down the line and divide this half note into 2 equal parts, we need a type of note that gets 1 beat or 1 count or 1 pulse in music, okay? And that's what we call a quarter note. Right? A quarter note looks different than a half note in that the note head is filled in, right? Half note, note head is empty. Whole note, empty note head without a stem. Okay? So now I've got 2 quarter notes going on here, right? Now if I were to take a quarter note and divide it into 2 equal parts, that's going to give me an 8th note. And I'm going to draw these 8th notes upside down here so that we can connect them, right? So 8th notes each are worth half a beat of time, right? Or half of a count, or half of a pulse in music. Okay, so now we're back here with just the quarter note here because we're running out of room on the whiteboard. But now I've got my quarter note divided into 2 equal parts, which gives me 2 8th notes, right? Now if we continue on, we're gonna go one step further and divide an 8th note into 2 equal parts, right? So if we divide an 8th note into 2 equal parts, we need a type of note that gets a 1/4 of a beat, right? And that's what we call a 16th note. All right, so you'll notice the difference between 8th notes and 16th notes are that 8th notes have 1 beam, 16th notes have 2 beams connecting the notes together, right? Now, if we have a single 8th note or a single 16th note by itself, it still has a filled-in note head, a stem, but now it has a flag that drapes down as opposed to a beam that goes across, right? But it means the same thing, right? This is still an 8th note because it has a flag, okay? If we were to make this 8th note into a 16th note, all we'd have to do is add another flag underneath the existing flag. Right? So now that's a single 16th note by itself. Okay, now we're back here with just a single whole note at the top of the board here. And I'm going to show you how these different types of notes that we've talked about can fill the space of a single whole note, right? So remember, a whole note gets 4 beats, right? And as we already discussed, 2 half notes would make up that same amount of space, right? So this would be 2 beats plus 2 beats equals 4 beats, right? Now, if we were going to do 4 beats of quarter notes, we would need 4 of them, right? So here's 1 beat, 2 beats, 3 beats, 4 beats, okay? And we would call this beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4, right? Okay, now if we were going to fill up the same amount of space with 8th notes, we would need how many of them? right? 2 for each quarter note. So that's going to mean 8 total eighth notes to make up those 4 whole beats, those 4 total beats that we have in this whole note. All right, so now the way that we count the in-between, the beats in between 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Since we're dividing each beat in half, is we just say and in the middle, right? 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. Okay? So this would be 4 beats of eighth notes. All right, and then down here at the bottom, we're going to write in 4 beats of 16th notes, right? So if we think about it, each eighth note is going to get divided into 2 16th notes, right? So each of these is going to get 2, so we're going to need 16 total notes, right? 16 total 16th notes to make up our 4 beats up here at the top, all right? So I'll write that in. Okay, and so here we go with our 4 groups of 4 16th notes, right? 16 total 16th notes. And you can see that we group them in groups of 4, right? Because we're always thinking about what, how we're dividing a single beat into different parts, right? So when we're dividing a single beat into 2 parts, we group those eighth notes together. When we divide a single beat into 4 parts, we're grouping 4 16th notes together, right? Now the way we count it, this is still 1, this is still 2, this is still 3, this is still 4, right? And then we can translate the ands. This is still and, this is still and, this is still and this is still and, right? Now in between those, we label the notes as E and So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Okay, so that's how we divide beats equally in kind of our standard 4/4 time signature, right? Next time we'll talk about a couple different time signatures and then how we divide the beats in those contexts. All right, I'll see you next time.